Salute, 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 salutes to everybody. Much love and respect. And man, make sure y'all hit that like button. Please like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel. We are back. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We'll get started once we get a few more people in here. I'm going to be sharing the stream. Salutes to everybody. Please make sure y'all share the stream for us, man, because we are not in good graces to be back in the algorithm just yet. Salutes. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I've been a bit inspired to have a conversation about the music business. It was crazy to me, and shout out to Citizen, man. Shout out to Sanchez, man. The conversation that we just had when we were talking about the supplemental um, nutritional assistance program, SNAP benefits, and we also were able to correlate that with the music business. The music business is something that I'm all too familiar with. You know, back in 1998, I was tied in with, you know, a lot of artists that people may know about. You know, Lil Flip, that's my brother. Shout out to Lil Flip. Back then in those days, man, we were actually getting our own CDs pressed up. You know, we were actually selling our CDs out of the trunk or out of a bag. You know, we will pull up to shout out to my brother D Allen Warren, salute. We will pull up to liquor stores, clubs, and all that. We would travel with our music and we would press our music on CDs. We had actual economic freedom to do so. And one of my thoughts is when I think about the economic freedom that we had to be able to sell our CDs out of the trunk, right? We had economic freedom to do that. And they came with this thing called Napster. So when I think about them coming with this thing called Napster, I actually can place my mind to relate that to something that's called universal income right now. And I'm going to actually share the stream real quick. So if y'all can bear with me real quick while I share the stream, we will be right back in about 20 seconds. It's going to take me 20 seconds to share the stream. Shout out to everybody. Salute. And man, you know, so to get back to the conversation, if we had economic freedom back in those days, we were able to make our own. And shout out to Hiker. Shout out to Hiker. Salute. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we were able to have economic freedom back in those days. It actually placed us upon high. And once the powers that be in the music game saw that we were just young brothers from the South. You know, like I said, shout out to my brother Flip. You know, he actually showed me a lot of things. I learned a lot of things from being inside of his camp. You know, I learned a lot of my knowledge from Master P. Shout out to Jay Prince. Shout out to all the greats, you know, who was giving us the game back then. But see, up north, they were more prairie to what you would really call signing a contract and selling out. Down south, we was big on business. We were empowering ourselves. So they had to do something to take the power away from the people. So once they were able to take the power away from the people by introducing this thing that's called Napster, it made it hard for us to go out and sell our music out of the trunks as we were doing, because people could now go on the internet. People were now able to go on the internet and get our music. So if I could get your music off the internet, then why would I pay you for a CD that you getting out of the trunk? So that hurt us, just like the people who were burning the CDs hurt us, right? And I'm actually gonna share this video real quick. Give me 1 second. We was able to sell our CDs out of the trunk. Salutes to everybody. So what Napster did was Napster was able to destroy our economic floor that we built as being artists. So once our economic floor was destroyed, we had to once again become dependent upon the system, which built a platform, because our main thing was distributing music. This is what happened to Murder Inc. Records. This is what happened to um, Death Row Records. This is what happened to Rap a Lot Records when they were all coming together to put forth a system, because the only part that we were missing was distribution. So once they came and they were able to destroy the economic floor, it took the power away from the people, and it set the power back to the corporation. It set the power back to the record labels. And that's what they're doing right now when it comes to individuals in America. They have the debate about the supplemental nutritional um, assistance program, the SNAP program. We have universal basic income. And what is universal basic income doing? So the SNAP program is only putting people inside of a social structure. So even though they're raising the prices on the food, and even though people are getting SNAP benefits, the people who getting SNAP benefits, they're not able to even eat throughout the whole month, because the taxes and the tariffs and the prices on the food are steady going up. They making it hard for us to live. They're making it hard for us to breathe, all in the while giving us a little bit of a leeway out of it. It's not like they're actually feeding the people. So when it comes to the laziness situation, I can't really see that. But what we're not recognizing is they're actually doing this thing for control. They're doing this for control so that the power does not go back to the people. This is why I asked the question about universal basic income, because we can't have questions about SNAP benefits and we can see that they're practicing universal basic income. And you may say, well, why are they practicing universal basic income? Because they've enslaved us physically. They've enslaved us mentally. So now their next step is to enslave us spiritually, what you can call digitally, because the only way for you to see the spiritual is for them to show you digital. It's like money would be a physical representation of currency. So a dollar bill would be a physical representation of currency. But if I take the dollar bill from you and I put it on Cash App to where you can only see numbers, now that's the spiritual side of the situation. Salute to my brother Big Dog Filio G. Salute. I'm actually gonna drop the link for you guys, man. We just here to have a conversation. This thing is the survival of the fittest. So any outside connotation of, us trying to put forth a mindset that we're going to be able to do anything to offset these people's agendas is going to just be distractions or sidetracks when it comes to what's actually taking place here in America. Because they only have one agenda. Regardless of what our agendas are, these people only have one agenda. They want to enslave us on a spiritual level. So they're doing things as far as giving out universal basic income. They're doing things as far as placing AI in tax to get us to sit home. They're going to make AI work out all these jobs that we're doing. Their thing, what they came to this place to do is terraform the planet. They want to terraform the person, and they want to terraform the spiritual aspect of a person. Most people are so confined with trying to survive that people are not even able to concentrate on their spiritual state. What state of my spirit am I in? They want to give us this kindergarten religion. They give us a lot of religions for us to kind of cut down our spiritual aspect. And when they give us these religions to rely on, that's a hook, line, and sinker. See, they got us then. So, what is their agenda? Their agenda is going digital. See, once they go digital, the digital mirrors the spiritual aspect. So, once they can display our spiritual aspect upon a screen, then now they're able to manipulate it. They can't naturally manipulate us on a spiritual level unless we come into agreements to merge with a digital aspect of life, and then they're able to now manipulate their digital aspects of life because we merge with it. They don't have the technology to actually um, manipulate us on a spiritual level unless we're in agreement with it. This is the buck stops here. This is the final frontier. It's all about mind, body, and soul. They've already found a way to conquer the body, right? They've already recognized that, hey, in order for me to conquer the mind, I got to make them think that their body's free. That's why they start to allow us to be able to make more money, to be able to travel more, as long as we follow certain guidelines and policies. So when we think our minds, our bodies are free, we don't realize that our minds are enslaved due to certain ideologies. But now they want to go digital so that they can put more of a stronghold and they can really grasp in on the spiritual aspect of the person. This is what's taking place here. So as far as me making the correlation between the music industry, I really want to go back to that because we can see what they did with hip hop. Once they were able to destroy the economic floor of the entrepreneur of hip hop, they had to find a way to bring the power and put the power back in the hands of the controllers. They have controllers of hip hop. Shout out to Charlie, my brother Charlie, salute. Now they got controllers of hip hop. So when you have individuals who are able to create their own control within a system that was set up for them to have control, now they need to offset that. And that's what's happening. See, America is run by the working class citizens. So how do you offset a country that is standing on the backs of its working class citizens? Because even the supplemental nutritional assistance program, even with the SNAP benefits, they're acting like they're providing these benefits for those who are in need of them. No, the working class Americans are providing these SNAP benefits for these people in need of them. So the government shouldn't be saying shit when it comes down to who should get SNAP benefits and who shouldn't. If the working class citizens are paying for this shit, and see, they recognize that we recognize that. So what do they want to do? They want to take the working class citizens control. How would they do that? By providing universal basic income and by providing AI to take over the jobs of the working class citizens. See, if they provide an atmosphere to where people don't have to work at all, then now they are able to really not get any pushback. Because right now, the working class systems of America have a lot of power that whether they know they have it or not, they got a lot of power. This is why there's a voting system in place. The voting system is in place because the country is powered by the working class citizens who pay taxes on everything. You pay taxes to have power. Now, whether we know how much power we got or what power we have, that's totally dependent upon us. So, with that being dependent upon us, is all about what you know. How much do you know? Do you know how much power you have? You knowing how much power you have will be dependent upon how much power that you're going to exercise. You can only exercise the amount of power that you know you have. And this is why this thing has become the power, the survival of the fittest. See, knowledge is the power because you have to be knowledgeable of the rules of the game. It's going to be hard to play a game that you're not knowledgeable of and win. So this is why they have a lot of distractions and a lot of puppeteers who come out into the platform because the world is a stage. So they come out and they give us a false narrative of things. And as long as we ride with the false narrative of things, then they know that they're able to execute their agendas. By us not caring or sharing the true knowledge so that the power can remain amongst the people, then they're able to carry out their agendas. And that's what they want here, people. This is what they looking for. They looking for us to just have faith within the system. This is why Trump says that the most detrimental threat to this country is someone who goes against the policies of the system, because the policies of the system are here to strip the people of the power. This is what this is all about. Why do they keep making amendments to a constitution that was built for the people to have the power in the first place? Why do they keep pushing narratives? Why are they having any concern about SNAP benefits in the first place when the people pay for the SNAP benefits for the people in need? See, this should be a dead giveaway. This should be something that we should be seeing right off top. We got to watch for the hook. See, the system has been hijacked and they're pushing their narrative right now because they want to get spiritual control of the people. See, once they get spiritual control of the people, then they can kind of offset this thing. They can create what's called a hell on earth. Their next move is to disrupt childbirth. This is the most important thing that's happening in this world that we're living in today. The womb and the portal is the most the womb and the portal is the most important resource that we have. Now, we can think on a selfish level and we can think about the things that we like and the things that we don't like, and we can lean on our own understanding and say, well, hey, you know, I want to do this, I want to do that. But what's the most important thing that's taking place within this reality that we know as life today? Children being born, people living, people dying in childbirth, rebirth. That's the most important thing that's happening. That's why all of the esoteric knowledge revolves around life, death, and rebirth. There's nothing else that's real that's actually going on inside of this earth today. So, with the knowledge of that, they know to keep us distracted by other things. They know to keep us distracted with gossip, news, um, money, hoes, cars, clothes. These are the things that they know that are these are the things that they know that are, vices. These are the things that they know that can steal the hearts of men. And this can keep men from really being focused on what's actually taking place. They know that once they can take the focus of what's actually going on, and that they're here to really terraform this place in totality, because we come to this place with mind, body, and soul. That is us in totality, mind, body, and soul. They get us stuck on a surface level type thought of the physical body. They get us stuck on them being able to enslave the physical body. Well, they were even able to enslave the mind beyond the physical body. So they let the physical body free to get us to take our eyes off the ball with them enslaving the mind. And they don't have to do their job no more. They don't have to do anything because they put things in place for us to fall in love with. So now that we enslave ourselves. So once we begin to enslave ourselves and we've taken our mind off of physical enslavement, now our spirit is up for grabs. And that's what's coming next with this digital world. See, once they're able to produce this digital aspect or this digital ID, they're going to ID with us on a digital level. And once they ID with us on a digital level, the digital aspect of things is going to merge with our spiritual selves. Then we will be able to see our spiritual selves through these portals, which we hold on our hands. It started with these portals that we were seeing on TV. So when we were seeing these images in these lesser lights on these TVs, and we were taking these images into our mind, that was painting our reality, and it introduced us into a whole new world. They're affecting our D-stream effect. This is the whole thing with CERN. See, they're trying to change reality because we can change reality. The only thing that exists is a thing in your mind. So if I can get you not to want to create inside of your subconscious mind. Your conscious is supposed to be your outreach. So if you can, your conscious is supposed to be impregnating your subconscious on a daily basis. But if I can advertise to you, if I can hypnotize my enemy and steal your conscious concentration, then I can imprint an image on your subconscious mind and produce the baby that I want to be brought forth out of that. That's what's happening. That's what's taking place, people. So when it comes to us being tricked into the idea that we're going to be able to vote our way to change their agenda, we're going to be able to buy our way to change their agenda. That's deception at its finest. Because these people who are in control are the synagogue of Satan. They came to the ground to turn this motherfucking world upside down. Thank you so much. My Cash App is Key Norfolk 1984. I appreciate all donations, all support. If you can share the stream, if you don't have the money to donate, even just sharing the stream is support enough, because I really want to give this information to the people so that um, we can be knowledgeable, so that we can stop having debates about what's harming us. You know, I want to us to be able to be ahead of the game when it comes to what we should be aware of. You know, what's a distraction and what's not. That's my whole purpose of even having this YouTube channel. You know what I mean? And when I look at people like, you know, the conversation on Bro Sanchez really inspired this. So I want it to be known that this is my whole goal with this. I want us to be able to see the rip in the fabric, because we're in a stage right now to where we're lifting the veil. Shout out to my brother T Riggles. We're placing ourselves in a position to be able to see beyond the veil. What is the veil? The veil is the matrix system. What does the matrix system consist of? Zeros and ones. See, this is a cage that has been put around us from our enemy, and now the cage is invisible. It's invisible in a sense of zeros and ones, and we're looking at this digital world. That's why a lot of us are trapped by the digital world, right? Because AI rules all. If you ask anybody anything, they're not going to rely on their natural intelligence. They're not going to rely on their human intelligence. They're not going to even rely on their logical intelligence anymore. All these things are different levels, new levels, new devils. See, we getting buried um, with these different shells of the cells, which would come with ego. Because when you think you're a teacher, or when you think that you better than a person who got to be on food stamps, or when you think a person who on food stamps lesser than you, or when you think that a motherfucker who work at McDonald's ain't on your level, see, now you're putting on another jacket, and that's not who you really are. Now you're trying to be more than what you really should be, which is your naked self, your spiritual self. The body and the mind put clothes on the soul. You have to realize you are not the clothes that you wear. You should be operating as more of your soul than your mind, what you're thinking, the traumas that's been put upon you while you've been living in this reality, in this whole new world that they put upon us. And you damn so way more than your body. See, we have a ethereal body that connects us to the ether, that makes us compatible with life and nature. We have an astral body, which we visit when we go to sleep at nighttime. By us visiting our astral body when we go to sleep at nighttime, we're able to bring everything into collection. Your ethereal body consists of your feelings. These are your emotions. See, we will sometimes hide our emotions because living in this reality and dealing with reality, and especially having to survive inside this capitalistic system, we can't really focus on our emotions. Our mental state is affected by our emotions. So we will put our emotions to the side, and that will cause dark spots within us, and it will cause holes in our souls. Because no one knows you better than you. And if you are your soul and you know that you just carrying on and you holding these holes inside of you, it's like you never taking the trash out, because society won't let you deal with what's really bothering you or what you really dealing with. So we have holes in our soul, and we're covering it up with our mental aspects. We're covering it up with our physical aspects. You know how many people who will gain weight right now and they will not work on themselves with the weight gain. They're gonna take a pharmaceutical drug, which is pharmakia. So then they're able to tap into your spirit or your soul through pharmakia, or you're gonna have surgery, which will place you inside of a situation to now you're dealing with split personalities, because you're going to be the person who you are. You got to you look like how you are. You look like what makes you who you are. But then you can buy another body. So now you're dealing with who you are and the person that you're looking at in the mirror. This is all psychological aspects. The psyche is the spirit. They got you thinking that your psychological mind is in your head when your psychological mind run through your whole body, because your spirit is who you are. Brother Brian, salute. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much, my brother Charlie, for your contribution. I appreciate y'all. You know, we have to look at we're dealing with those who don't have a soul. So they are jealous of you because of your soul. This is why the people who are without souls can do so much destruction. They can do so many harmful things to get ahead in this world. One without a soul can't sell his soul. So they looking for you to sell your soul. They're operating off an external hard drive. They're jealous of you because you have an internal hard drive. So they set the stage to put you in a situation to where you say, hey, my outside life ain't good, so I'm going to sell my soul. We'll make a man suck a dick or give his ass up for some money so he can live good in his physical world. These are the people that we dealing with. I don't know what you want to call them. You want to call them archons. You want to call them demons. You call them what you want to call them, but what I'm telling you is they not like us. This is why they terraforming the land. This is why they terraforming the earth. This is why they terraforming the air. This is why they terraforming the water. This is why they trying to terraform the way that souls enter and exit this earth. They already terraform how souls are exiting this earth. because there's so many people going to the hospital who on motherfucking life machines who, if they don't got enough insurance money with these people, then they're gonna take the plug on them. Now, do you think that's a natural death or not? I don't think so. That's some evil shit. That's the most evil shit that I've ever heard of. That's why I say fuck the medical system. That's why I say fuck the school system, because they only schooling you to generate their agendas. So fuck them too. They don't give a fuck about us. Michael Jackson told you that. Tupac told you that. But like we said earlier on the channel, if you gonna give a half truth, that's a whole lie. So we're so surface level that we're looking at these devils on this stage in front of our face, and they giving us half truths, and we think they whole heroes. If you tell me a half a truth, you telling me a whole lie. You not telling me a half a truth for me to get the truth. You telling me a half a truth so you can trick my ass, because you ain't finna tell me they whole plan in the first place. If you know everything these fucking people are doing, then why ain't you telling me everything? You can only trick those who you think are stupid. But see, now we've come into this time of what they call the age of information. But what they knew was this was the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is a feminine aspect. This was the return of the light body, which is a feminine aspect to ourselves. They put us inside of this, they put us inside of this patriarchal system. By us being inside of a patriarchal spiritual system, that made us try to use our conscious mind to equivocate our spiritual system, when the spiritual system was based on a matriarchal system anyway. That's why our intuition lies. Our intuition lies inside of a matriarchal spiritual system. That's why women are so intuitive. This is where your perception and your intuitive aspects come from. The patriarchal system admonishes that. It even takes away the feminine aspect away from our women, which is why not all women, because I love you women, but a lot of our women are so in depth with this patriarchal system. That's why it seems like a lot of masculinity has been set forth upon our women, because their mindsets have been set to that they need to compete with a man. When, as far as I knew, and as far as this world know, all a woman got to do is be a woman, because a man gonna fall in her anyway. You get me? You see the games they playing with us? So we can't allow these motherfuckers to play game with us like this. Why are they able to play these games with us? Because they set the stage to where this life so hard, to we just gotta survive, to where everybody don't give a fuck about nothing but money. So when everybody don't give a fuck about nothing but money, you got your own people who will sell you out or put you down if you got money or if you don't got money. Because if you got money, they're going to try to find a way to get this shit up out of you. And if you don't got money, you not no use for them, because it's the survival of the fittest. It's the survival of the fittest. When we were already born and equipped with all of the tools, the spiritual knowledge, and the attributes and the connection to be able to live and be compatible with life and nature. But what they did was they came and they set up a system to where we had to find a way to make money. They made this system to where we have to rely on making money when there was no money that we had to make. We were already born with our gifts and our spiritual knowledge to be able to be compatible with life and nature. Food grows on trees and out of the fucking ground. They got us going to the fucking grocery store and killing other forms of life to get it. We can't stop picking meat out of our teeth. And I know I like it too, but it's not right. They don't make it right. They don't make it right. They make it so hard to survive inside of a system to where they created a atmosphere to where there's a lot of single mothers, and you got single mothers who are fighting for their rights to be equal to men. And then when there's no man around, now what the single mother got to do? She got to go to work. She got to go to work. The school system is taking care of the children. The children get out of school. Then what's guiding the children after that? Video games, TV, and music. And then what are they doing with the shit that's guiding these children while these mothers at work? They putting demon shit inside of them. They telling these children that, there's alternate realities, and they're teaching them about sex and being transsexuals and all this dumb shit that's going to try to stop the flow of life. These people have an agenda. I don't give a fuck how many stimulus checks Donald Trump sent out to you. Donald Trump ain't shit. He's sucking a dick. So whether Bubbles a fucking horse or Bill Clinton, it don't matter. He fucked and he sucked. Period. So, and that's his personal business. But when we start looking at the stability of true life and true nature, we have to understand these people that we dealing with is not like us. We survive off breathing air. So why are they steady putting shit in the air? We flush things out of our system by drinking water. We can barely drink fucking water because it's hard to find clean water that ain't got shit in it that's harmful for us. We produce babies by having natural sex and natural relations between men and women, and they're promoting homosexuality. I'm not making this shit up. I can't make this shit up. Look at who we dealing with. So we talking about aliens. We talking about archons, reptilians. It's the motherfucking people who's in power. They gotta be something else. They gotta be not of this world because they doing unnatural shit. So why will we put our power and our reliability in the hands of some people who we can see who fucking the air up that we breathe? Some people who are poisoning us through the food that we eat. They don't give a fuck about us. You think that we're going to be able to vote our way into redemption dealing with these people? I think not. We're not going to be able to way to vote ourselves into redemption when dealing with people who came to terraform the man and the woman, with people who came to terraform the earth, who came to terraform the air, who came to terraform the water, who came to terraform the food, and who came to terraform the mind of the chosen ones. And when they terraform your mind, they are terraforming your internal hard drive. This is called a soul. And guess what that is, people? This shit is called spiritual possession. It's a spiritual war that's happening. This is spiritual warfare at its finest. This is what this shit is all about. They got you focused on copping a new Benz when all they care about is the new trend, because the new trend gonna get you to turn your fucking soul in, because you gonna want to look trendy like everybody else. So you gonna give what's up inside of you what really makes you trendy. your true authentic self, your characteristic when you are the fucking light, but they got you blinded by outside light when you already hold a light with inside of you. You already hold a light inside of you. So we put into a survival of the fittest situation. So this universal basic income, I made my first video on universal basic income. It's 2025. I made my first universal basic income video in 2022. And like we were just talking about, when it comes to universal basic income, it's going to get a lot of individuals to, we can't look at it like it's going to make people lazy. We can't even say the lazy word no more. They think black people lazy fucking people, which is a fucking double conundrum, because how can black people be lazy if we were slaves in the first place? We never stopped being slaves. So if you was whooping our ass for us to go out to work, then you stop whooping our ass and now you giving us shit. Who fault is that? See, we got people so stuck with surface level shit that they not able to comprehend what's going on. We got too many people trying to be smart and too many people trying to read what's happening, but ain't nobody really comprehending what's going on. Because if you were able to comprehend, you would know that this whole story that's being told is a battle for your soul. That's the final frontier. The final frontier is for your soul. They conquered your body. You gave up your mind, and now they gonna come back for your soul. That's how this thing working, people. This is how this thing is working. This is what's going on here. We've heard about the Battle of Armageddon. You know, we looking at this thing as a spiritual aspect, but the Battle of Armageddon is taking place on this physical earth, but it started in the minds of the people, because they have us battling over concepts. They have us battling over ideologies. So as long as they keep us battling over concepts and ideologies, we're looking for something physical. When it came to the rapture, people was looking for people to start vanishing physically. But people start vanishing mentally and spiritually. Because once your mind got to the point to where you've been sold on so much of these aspects, it's like pouring water out of a cup. Once the water gone out of the cup, it's empty. Boom, you gone. We're sold on AI. We're sold on the the improvement of artificial intelligence to move us on to a whole new world. This is why they advertise these sci-fi situations for us. This is why they advertise a nigga like Elon Musk to us. When he telling you, oh man, you know what? Basically, he's saying, man, God ain't shit. Your arms and shit stop working. Don't worry about God. Worry about me. Cause I'm the nigga who gonna make your arms back start working for you. Look, I'm gonna give you one better than that. Don't even worry about dying. Cause guess what? When I put this Neuralink in your head, you won't even die, nigga. Huh? A lot of people don't like to hear the conversation that we having right now, because it shatters their whole reality. It shatters everything they learned in school. This is why I love this community, because we're practical and logical thinkers. Because we're gonna use what our eyes see and not what our ears have heard. We believe half of what we see and none of what we hear. We gotta prove all things. Even in the Bible, it tell you to prove all things. So why the fuck people going to church listening to a pastor telling them some shit that's not even in the Bible? Christmas ain't in the Bible. Homosexuality, it don't never say in there to agree with that. Nowhere in there. So we have to realize how to be in this world, but not of it. This is what's going to make us survive. It's survival of the fittest. But on their behalf, their survival of the fittest tactics is coming to out survive us by changing the narrative. They got to cheat us to beat us. So if they going to cheat us to beat us, then they have to change us from being on home court to in their stadium. So once they're able to switch the playing fields, then that changes the dynamics of the game. Now, this is what's happening. This is what's taking place, man. I don't really want to be too long winded. I ain't really come on here to be all too long, man. I'm just passionate about this conversation because we can argue politics, but we can't argue politics because I don't care about politics because I'm looking at the long haul agenda. I'm looking at what these people got in store. We know we got the 2030 plan. We can see the poisoning that's in our food. We can see all the water sources we losing. We can see the people who not like us, what they going through in their countries. England ain't playing no games. England is rebellion. But as long as the minds of the people are confined and the people will not rebel, as long as you can sell the people that they're free, they not gonna know that they slaves. So why would they try to escape? See, a lot of people that say, man, we able to buy mansions today. We able to buy expensive cars today. I tell you what, you try to go somewhere and do what you want to do without a fucking passport that's got to be signed off by Britain, and you gonna see who really in control of you on that day. Survival of the fittest, man. And these people can't live without us. The people who are in control, they can't live without us. So in order to keep us, they have to keep us contained. They can't let us be free because they let us be free, then we gonna take control. Naturally, we would naturally take control. So they gotta take control before we take control. They gotta take control of us before we take control of them. Brian, Golden Spark, I think that's Brian, right? Good brother, I'm a mod you up. Yeah, I'm gonna mod you up, bro. I'm gonna go on the YouTube side. I was just trying to do it from StreamYard, man, but it's very important. It's very important that we are able to recognize that we are the observer. You are not your body. You are not your mind. Your body is your car. This is why we have a ma ka but. Your ma is your soul. Your ma come from your mama. Your ma is it come from your papa, but you come through your mama. The sperm comes from your daddy in your mama's belly, and your mama is your portal here. So that's why it all worked together. And then they put us inside of this system of things to where it's man versus woman, woman versus man when they work together. There shouldn't be a battle between man and woman. It should be a beautiful dance. They don't like me talking like this. But frankly, I don't give a fuck, my dear. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I do this shit for y'all. I do this shit for us. They ain't gonna let me blow up talking like this. I'm gonna just get as big as the people. I'm just gonna get as much support as the people give me. Because the establishment ain't gonna never hire a nigga like me who gonna get in there and tell them that they full of shit to their face. Why would they? When they trying to control the race. They trying to control the race. Ain't no way for us to win, but they want us to think it is. They want us to adopt to the American dream, which is our fucking American nightmare. And it shows that it's an American nightmare because it's not about skin color. Because see, we got working class Americans who black and white, but everybody don't feel the same way that this corporation feels. This corporation has an agenda. There's black, white, Mexican, Arabic people who in this social structure who seen through their third eye being open. They recognize that, hey man, the shit that's going on not right. So what the government said, okay, now we in the age of Aquarius, we in the age of awakening, and people waking up, then man, we gotta do something about this shit. And see, that's when they talk about the flood story. The flood story drowned people. They talking about the flood. The flood of information came in the age of Aquarius. So you think if it was the age of Aquarius, when they telling you a time gonna come where people gonna start knowing and recognizing everything, now do you think we needed a fucking computer, AI, or Google to tell us everything? Or do you think that shit was put here to manipulate our thinking? I'm gonna let y'all decide. My brother DJ Jaguar, salute. Ha. Hola, mi amigo, mi habla español tú. Sí. Dio bendigo, mi amigo. Yeah, I fuck around, Charlie. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep that between us, though. You feel me? Yeah, man. Um, you know, we're in a survival game. This is why they are going to reset this thing. This is why I've been skeptical about their alien talk. I'm not saying that there's not other beings on this earth because I know they do a lot of if they trying to promote not procreating, Then I know they done procreated. I know they done made a lot of other species and beings too. But for them to have us in thoughts of something else that's coming from outside of this world that's supposed to be pissed off for us, then that's giving them the right to be able to blast the shit out of us and leave a couple of people left for their slave race. And it's gonna be Cabbage Patch babies that they leave left for their slave race. It's gonna be motherfuckers that don't have an internal hard drive. It's gonna be motherfuckers who got an external hard drive. See, people who have an internal hard drive come into this reality with a heart. They come into this reality with morals, principles. People who have an external hard drive rely on the script to survive. These are the people who need the Ten Commandments. These are the people who need the Constitution. We don't need that shit when we are already compatible with life and nature. We know what's right and what's wrong and what we shouldn't do and what we should do. Why are we doing the things that we're doing? Because we're trying to be politically fucking correct. Why? Because it's survival of the fittest. I ain't come to play with these motherfuckers on damn day, man. Y'all hyping me up, man. Y'all got me, you know, this shit crazy. Because it's like, what are we waiting for? What the fuck are you waiting to do to us? You take some away from us. They took the food stamps. They gave the food stamp back. And then they gonna say, man, well, we gonna take the food stamps permanently, man, this time, because everybody who ain't getting them ain't supposed to be. They always making it like it's your motherfucking fault. Why are they taking some shit that they didn't give us in the first place? My brother Charlie work a good job. My brother OG Philly worked a good job to where the point to where he made it to the point of retirement. So why shouldn't OG Philly and Charlie and my grandfather and my mother, why y'all ain't telling us whether people should get the fucking food stamps or not? Why the fuck the government telling us this? They ain't gave us shit. They didn't give us a damn thing. They telling y'all what to tell us. That's fucked up. That's fucked up, man. But then if you talk the way I'm talking, I'm deemed a threat because I'm talking for the power of the people and not the power of the construct. So we got to start looking at that shit. This is very important. There's a spiritual warfare in place, and the spiritual war is happening in heaven, which is in the minds of men. We forget that the government was originally supposed to work for the people, not the other way around. That's a fact. But see, they done got us so caught up with immigration. So this was, I want people to recognize this. So Donald Trump, George Bush, all these different presidents are just different presidents. So do you think that they was gonna be the presidents if one was gonna have a different agenda than the other one? Do you think if Barack Obama, he was the first black president, why he ain't do nothing for black people? Because this motherfucker wasn't the first black president, he was the first gay president. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I can't do nothing but tell the truth. I gotta tell the truth to tell the youth. Because if I don't tell the truth to tell the youth, then they're going to put the youth in their school system. School is spool. So spool is like a spool of thread. They wrapping them up and then they going to fucking end up being one of they butterflies, man. that's gonna keep carrying out their agendas. If they ain't able to spool these children and continue their agenda and overpower with their agenda, then they gonna say fuck it and they gonna reset this motherfucker. But they gonna have the people thinking like there's some outside threat that's coming, you know, and they gonna be telling y'all that we ain't been living right the whole time, y'all. So these aliens is mad at us. They really coming to kill us and kick our ass. So if we ain't been living right and we only been living the way that y'all been telling us to live, then why the fuck we keep living the way y'all telling us to live if the way we living ain't right? If some type of outside source gonna be mad and gonna come kill us because what we doing ain't right, but we only doing what the fuck y'all tell us to do. Man, tell somebody else the bullshit, bro. Now the first black president, nah, because there's stories of there being other black presidents. Um, I know Dick Gregory ran for president, but what I'm saying is all presidents are the same. I'm saying they pushing the same agenda. They got a skull and bones organization because what they represent is death. They represent death of the body. The corporation represents death of the body so that they can somehow figure out to confine the soul. The soul is the real light. The flesh is the dark light. The flesh is what's really dead because it dies. The soul don't die. The soul don't never die. The soul don't never die. And so they trapped here. As long as you have light inside of you, your soul will ascend upon death and you can get up out of here. They want you trapped here. They want to cut your source, cut you from the source. They want to take your light. They want to contain your light to give you energy. This is why they cipher your energy through their black boxes, through their religious practices. Because they can't survive without us. They can't survive without us. If there's people say, well, why won't they just kill us all? Because if they kill us all, then everything on this planet will just die. Everything on this earth will just die because everything is everything. That's why we got to be compatible with life and nature. This is why when they say in the Bible, when they say you're going to have to go back to the wilderness, that mean, nigga, we might have to live without the grocery store. That's what the wilderness mean. Nigga, we might have to live without the internet. We might have to live without AI. But so many people ain't willing to do that. They think that's going to be retracting, but that's actually going to be making shit better for you. That's all it is, man. That's all it is. And man, you know what? Shout out to everybody, man. Look, I might be right back. I'm going to give a shout out to everybody once again, and I'm gonna see if I might have another hour or two, right? So I'm gonna hit my brothers up to see if they want to come on. I wanted to have this conversation myself, because I feel like I don't want to take nobody deeper than where they want to go. A lot of people may not be willing to say the things that I'm willing to say. So I just wanted to have this conversation by myself because I think it's prevalent information for the people to have. We have to know the type of people that we're dealing with. We can't accept these external hard drives. And when we dealing with a Neuralink system is an internal hard drive. AI is an external hard drive, excuse me. A Neuralink system is an external hard drive. So when we are looking for Elon Musk to save humanity, then we're basically giving up on our inner selves of who we truly are. You really the soul. The soul is who you truly are. Your instincts, your natural right from wrong. That's who you really are. These people, this is why they have all of these erroneous acts. This is why they can grape people. This is why they can grape, rob, and pillage. They can grape, rob, and pillage and get rid of people with no conscience because they don't have a soul. They don't have an external hard drive. And they justify this amongst us so that we can still have faith in the system. Because if they gave us the true story and if they gave us their true agenda, then we will really be able to connect the dots on these conspiracies that we have. But we're living with conspiracies saying this might be happening, but we can't prove it true. This may be happening, but we can't prove it true. So they keep us distracted with things like what's going on with P. Diddy. They keep us distracted with things as far as like the political situations that's happening. So we argue and we fight amongst each other about the political things that's happening, about the surface level things that's happening. And we're not really understanding that the only way to conquer the people was to divide the people. So the people are being divided by outside circumstances that's really not affecting the soul. The only thing that's affecting the soul is the people who want to steal it. They want to steal your light. They want to make you a light bug in a jar. They want to trap your light into a jar, which is going to be this new metaverse. And they're using their machine called CERN to tie up your D streams to put you inside of alternate realities so that it eventually overturns to be their reality. So, hey, man, much love, much respect. I love y'all, man, because without y'all, without the chat, man, I'm nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm going to continue to gather information. I'm going to continue to perfect my craft. I'm going to continue to dig deep and be able to find the answers so that we can kind of have some solutions. Now, we're in this physical world, so we may not physically overcome these people within our lifetime, but what we can do is really get a true base of understanding of what's happening around us because there's so many distractions. There's so many people who only care about the currency. Currency is the most important thing, but our true energy has been misplaced and replaced with the physical currency that they've given us that we need to survive, which is money. And our true currency is our energy inside of us. So until we can find a way to restore balance to where we're able to survive just off of our true currency, then we're going to be trapped inside of this matrix system and it'll be the survival of the fittest. Salutes to everybody. Much love and respect. Until next time, peace and power, my people. Salute.